Welcome back to Coins Explorer. In today's video, we're taking a closer look at a coin that may appear ordinary at first glance, but its history, rarity, and potential market value could surprise even experienced collectors. So before you consider it just another common coin, take a closer look, because in the world of coin collecting, even a small detail can make a huge difference in a coin's value.
At first glance, this coin may look like an ordinary old circulation coin, but its history is connected to one of Brazil's most common. This is not a modern Brazilian 10 centavos coin from the real currency introduced later in the 1990s. It belongs to an earlier monetary era and was produced during Brazil's transition from the Cruzado Novo to the Cruzeiro. So, before deciding that your coin is rare or valuable, you need to understand exactly what you have. Stay with Coins Explorer because we are going through its denomination, design, metal, weight, size, mintage, history, varieties, condition, errors, and realistic collector value. The coin shown in your photographs is the Brazilian 10 centavos issue dated 1990. The opposite side features a miner or garimpiro, representing an important part of Brazil's mining history. The year 1990 is placed below the main design and identifies the year of production. This type is catalogued as KM613 in the Krauss-Michler system. Numismatic references also identify it as a 10 centavos coin of Brazil from the 1989 to 1990 series. The coin is round and has a plain edge rather than a reeded edge. Therefore, the unusual golden appearance around parts of your photograph coin should not automatically be interpreted as a gold composition. To understand this coin properly, we have to go back to Brazil's monetary history. Brazil was experiencing major monetary changes around the time this coin was produced. The Cruzado Novo was introduced in January 1989 as a new monetary standard. The Banco Central do Brasil records the Cruzado Novo as being in effect from January 16, 1989, until March 15, 1990. Then, on March 16, 1990, Brazil returned to the name Cruzeiro for its currency. One Cruzeiro was established as equivalent to one Cruzado Novo at the monetary changeover. The centavo remained as the 100th part of the currency. This means that a coin dated 1990 can be confusing because it belongs to a period of monetary transition. The 10 centavos coins from the Cruzado Novo standard continued to be used after the monetary name changed. This historical detail is one of the most interesting facts about the 1990 issue. The denomination written on the coin is 10 centavos. The word centavos is clearly positioned beneath the large number 10. In the monetary system, a centavo represented 1/100th of the principal currency unit. Therefore, 10 centavos represented 1/10 of a Cruzeiro or Cruzado Novo, depending on the monetary standard being used at the time. However, the historical monetary conversion should not be confused with today's Brazilian real. The modern Brazilian real was introduced years later, so this coin should not be valued simply as 10 modern Brazilian centavos. It is primarily interesting today as a historical and numismatic object. The denomination is important because it helps collectors distinguish this coin from the larger 10 Cruzeiros issues of the same period. The 10 Cruzeiros coin is a completely different denomination with a different design and specifications. Correct identification is therefore the first step before researching the value of a 1990 Brazilian coin. One of the most recognizable features of this coin is the figure of the miner or garimpiro. The figure represents mining activity, which has played an important role in Brazil's economic and social history. Brazil has a long association with gold, diamonds, precious stones, and other mineral resources. The use of a miner on the coin gives the piece a strong connection with Brazilian industry and labor. The design is not simply decorative because it reflects a real part of the country's economic identity. The date 1990 appears below the main figure and is one of the easiest ways to identify this particular issue. The miner design also gives the coin a distinct appearance compared with many other Brazilian circulation coins. Collectors of thematic coins may be especially interested in the connection between the design and mining. The official and catalog descriptions identify the reverse side as featuring the miner and the issuing year. When examining your own coin, look closely around the miner's portrait for missing details, doubling, or unusual die damage. The other side of the coin displays the large denomination 10. Immediately below it is the word centavos, followed by the country name Brazil. The background contains a large circular design that resembles the central portion of the Brazilian flag. There are also 4 5-pointed stars associated with the Braille representation of the denomination. This Braille-related feature is an especially interesting characteristic of the design. It shows that the coin was designed with accessibility in mind and was not merely created for visual identification. The combination of large numerals, lettering, symbols, and Braille elements makes the coin visually distinctive. The lettering is in Latin script, while the Braille elements provide an additional method of denomination recognition. This side is extremely useful when identifying the coin because the words Brazil and Centavos are easy to recognize. If your coin has these features together with the 1990 date and minor design, it strongly matches the 1990 10 centavos type. The 1990 Brazil 10 centavos coin is made from stainless steel. That is an important point because some photographs can make the coin appear gold-colored or bimetallic. The catalog composition is stainless steel, not gold, and not a precious metal alloy. Its standard weight is approximately 2.54 grams. The diameter is approximately 18.5 millimeters. The listed thickness is approximately 1.2 millimeters. The edge is plain rather than reeded or lettered. The coin has a round shape and uses a coin alignment orientation. These measurements are useful when checking whether a coin is genuine or whether it might be a damaged or altered piece. For a serious identification, collectors should use a precision scale and digital calipers rather than relying only on a photograph. Now we come to one of the most important numbers for collectors, the mintage. The 1990 issue had a reported mintage of approximately 136 million pieces. The coins were produced at the Rio de Janeiro Mint. This is significantly fewer than the 1989 issue, which had a reported mintage of approximately 362,900,000 pieces. That makes the 1990 date the lower mintage year within this 2-year 10 centavos series. Some catalog sources describe the 1990 issue as scarce or very scarce relative to the 1989 issue. However, lower mintage does not automatically mean that every example is highly valuable. Millions of coins were still produced, and many examples remain available to collectors. The condition, authenticity, variety, and actual market demand are much more important when estimating the price of an individual coin. So, if you own this 1990 coin, the date is definitely worth checking, but it should not be treated as a guaranteed fortune. The word rare is often used too easily in online coin videos. For this 1990 10 centavos, the more accurate description is that it is the scarcer date of the 1989 to 1990 type. The 1990 mintage of 136 million is lower than the 1989 mintage of 362.9 million. That difference gives the 1990 date greater collector interest within the series. But 136 million coins is still a very large production number. Therefore, an ordinary circulated example should not automatically be called an extremely rare coin. The situation changes if an example has an important minting error, exceptional preservation, or a recognized variety. A coin that survives in unusually high condition can also attract more attention than a heavily worn example. This is why professional coin evaluation considers several factors rather than just the year. The best approach is to call the 1990 issue a lower mintage or scarcer date rather than claiming that every example is extraordinarily rare. One of the biggest questions collectors ask is how much this coin is worth today. Available catalog and market reference data place ordinary examples at relatively modest prices. Ferronum lists approximate values for the 1990 issue in the neighborhood of about 47 to 63 US cents, depending on grade. Namista's user-based indications also show values generally in the low dollar or sub-dollar range for normal examples, depending on condition. These figures are only reference values and should never be treated as a guaranteed selling price. A dealer may offer less, while a collector seeking a particular example may sometimes pay more. Exceptional pieces, recognized varieties, and genuine mint errors can behave very differently from ordinary examples. The photographs you provided are not sufficient for assigning a professional numerical grade. There is visible wear and strong reflection, and some details are difficult to evaluate because of the lighting and image quality. So the safest conclusion is that your coin is historically interesting and collectible, but there is no evidence from these photographs that it is a multi-million-dollar coin. Condition is one of the most important factors in determining the collector value of any old coin. Professional grading generally considers how much original detail remains on the coin. A heavily circulated coin can have flattened high points, scratches, stains, and loss of design detail. A coin with very sharp details and minimal contact marks can command a stronger price. Grades such as very fine, extremely fine, about uncirculated, and uncirculated are commonly used by collectors. The 1990 10 centavos coin in your photographs appears to have significant surface wear and strong glare. Because of this, it would be unsafe to assign an exact grade from these photographs alone. The miner's features, lettering, date, and high points should be inspected under controlled lighting. The coin should also be weighed and measured before any serious authentication or valuation. Never clean the coin aggressively just to make it shine, because cleaning can damage the original surface and reduce collector appeal. There is another reason collectors inspect these coins carefully. Genuine minting errors can be more interesting than ordinary examples. The catalog information for this type specifically discusses the possibility of die clashes. A die clash can occur when the dies strike each other without a coin planchet correctly positioned between them. This can leave unexpected design elements from the opposite die appearing on the coin. The documented 10 centavos type can show different orientations and examples of die clash effects. Some examples can even show multiple clash characteristics on the same side. There are also reports of unusual impressions involving parts of the lettering. However, not every strange mark is a mint error. Scratches, polishing, corrosion, environmental damage, and post-mint alterations can create convincing but worthless error appearances. If you believe your 1990 coin has an unusual error, compare it with documented examples before assuming it is rare. The year 1990 is particularly interesting because it sits directly inside a major Brazilian monetary transition. The Cruzado Novo had been introduced in January 1989. On March 16, 1990, the currency was renamed Cruzeiro. The official Brazilian monetary records explain that 1 Cruzeiro corresponded to 1 Cruzado Novo during the transition. Importantly, the existing Cruzado Novo centavo coins continued to be used under the new monetary standard. This is why a coin dated 1990 can carry a denomination that looks confusing to modern collectors. The coin therefore represents more than a simple 10-cent piece. It is a physical record of Brazil's monetary instability and rapid currency changes around the beginning of the 1990s. For collectors of world coins, this historical context can make the piece much more interesting. The coin story is therefore one of its greatest collectible qualities, even when its financial value remains modest. If you have a 1990 Brazil 10 centavos coin like the one shown in these photographs, keep it and examine it carefully before selling it. First, confirm the 1990 date and make sure the miner design matches the correct type. Second, check the weight, diameter, and stainless steel appearance against the published specifications. Third, inspect the coin for genuine die clashes, doubling, unusual strikes, or other documented minting characteristics. Fourth, evaluate the condition without cleaning or polishing the surface. Remember that the 1990 issue had a mintage of 136 million pieces, making it scarcer than the 1989 issue, but not automatically an ultra-rare coin. Published market references suggest that ordinary examples are generally worth well under a few dollars, depending on condition and marketplace. The real opportunity for higher value would normally come from exceptional preservation, a verified variety, or a genuine and desirable mint error. Most importantly, do not believe claims that every 1990 example is worth millions without strong auction or certification evidence. This little Brazilian coin is valuable first as a piece of history, and for the right collector, that history can make it a fascinating addition to a world coin collection. Closing for the video. So, what do you think about this 1990 Brazil 10 centavos coin? Do you have one in your own collection? And does yours show any unusual markings or possible errors? Take a close look at the date, the miner, the lettering, and the surface before making any decision about its value. If you enjoyed this detailed coin investigation, make sure to follow Coins Explorer for more real coin histories, values, varieties, and collector information. And remember, a coin does not have to be worth millions to be an important piece of history. Sometimes the most fascinating coins are the ones that tell us exactly what was happening in a country when they were produced. The 1990 Brazilian 10 centavos is a perfect example of that idea. It connects everyday money with Brazil's mining heritage and a dramatic period of monetary change. Keep searching your old coins, because the next interesting piece may already be sitting inside your collection. This is Coins Explorer, and we will see you in the next coin investigation.